Hello, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, and welcome along to the final game of the 2026 Premier League Summer Series here at the iconic Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Mark Strange, delighted to have you along with me this evening, as it's two giants of the English game will clash as they amp up their preparations for the start of the new Premier League season, which is just 2 weeks away now. I thought just 3 weeks away. My maths is correct there. Getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it's Liverpool versus Leeds here, and it's live on Flash Score Official. Delighted to have you along with me this evening. We'll get to our starting lineups here. For Liverpool in goal, it's Georgi Mamardashvili. Across the back, at fullbacks is Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez, with a young centre-half pairing of Luke Chambers and Ifeanyi Ndukwe. And in midfield, it's Trey Neone, Kieran Morrison and Dominic Soboslai. And our front three of Rio Ungamoa, Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak for Andoni Iraola's Reds. And for Leeds United this evening in goal, they have Alex Cairns. A back three, they have Jayden Bogle, Joe Rodden and Tarek Mukharemovic. Now with wing backs, James Justin, Gabriel Goodmanson, with Ethan Ampadu and Ao Tanaka in the middle. The front three then of Dan James and Anton Stack in support of Lucas Mecha. So those are your starting 11s for this evening's game. Our referee this evening is going to be the American Alexis Da Silva, who has refereed 11 Major League Soccer games this season, and he'll take charge of these two. And we're just over a minute away here from kickoff in the Windy City, a city that, despite its official status as America's second city, did not host any games at this summer's World Cup, and well, that was a decision taken way back in 2018 by the former mayor at the time, Rahm Emanuel, who did not agree with some of FIFA's legislation in order to host a tournament, which meant that the city did not host any games. Soldier Field, it did host one of the USA's World Cup warm-up clashes against Germany, but there were no official World Cup games held here in one of the most iconic NFL stadiums, home of the Chicago Bears. They are a side that I'm sure even if you don't follow the NFL, you'll know who they are. But this evening, as I say, it is two Premier League giants who will take this field this evening. In what is, I mentioned, the final game of their American tour. So we're almost ready for kickoff this evening. As it's these two sides who have played many iconic games over the years, pre-Premier League and since the Premier League. And tonight, although there's no points at stake, still plenty for both of these sides to work on, still plenty of pride at stake. Maybe a little bit of a psychological edge before these sides get going for the real thing in the Premier League in 3 weeks' time. Apologies, folks. We've got a bit of a delay on kickoff here. I'll be back live as soon as we get going here. Don't go anywhere. We'll have kickoff very shortly. So the sides now have made their way out onto the field here at Soldier Field in Chicago, both in their traditional strips. Liverpool in all red, Leeds in all white. Apologies for the delay there, folks. The kickoff delayed for unknown reasons there, but we'll run you through the teams again here now. For Liverpool, in goal it's Georgi Mamardashvili. It's four at the back. Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez are the full-backs, with a young centre-half pairing of Luke Chambers and Ifeanyi and Dukwe. And a midfield three then of Trey Neone, Kieran Morrison and Dominic Soboslai, who will wear the captain's armband this evening. And then an exciting looking front three for Andoni Iraola's Reds, with Rio and Gamoa and Florian Wirtz in support of Alexander Isak, who will lead the line this evening. Then for Leeds United, Daniel Farke's Leeds United. In goal, they've got Alex Cairns, and there's three at the back: Jayden Bogle, Joe Rodden and Tarek Mukaremovic. Our wing backs then are James Justin and Gabriel Goodmanson, with Ethan Ampadu, the captain, in midfield, along with Ao Tanaka. And then the front three for the Whites, it's Dan James and Anton Stack on the wing, and they will partner Lucas Mecha, who will lead the line this evening. As mentioned there, if you joined me just moments ago, our referee this evening is from the United States, Alexis Da Silva, who has refereed 11 Major League Soccer games this season. And he'll take charge of this one between two of England's most historic clubs, Merseyside versus Yorkshire, here this evening. And well, these two meet in the league just before Christmas, currently scheduled for the 12th of December at Anfield for the first game, with the return at Ellen Road later in the season, the 24th of April. But for now, it's in Chicago, Illinois, a city that was starved of World Cup action this summer, after a decision taken 8 years ago by their former mayor Rahm Emanuel. Even before the US bid had been fully confirmed back then, he made the decision that the city was not ready, and certainly that he wasn't willing to put the city's residents in any sort of danger. He didn't quite agree with some of FIFA's stipulations for hosting the tournament. almost ready to go here. As Leeds will kick off, playing right to left, as I mentioned, all in white with the blue trim. Liverpool all in red with the white trim. On Alexis De Silva's whistle. And off we go. And a bit of a false start here as Florian Wirtz runs into the Leeds half before Ao Tanaka has taken the kick-off. Now we go. Leeds versus Liverpool. Pre-season action here for you from the Premier League Summer Series. Live from Chicago, Illinois. I'm Mark Strange. Delighted to have you along with me this evening as there's a throw-in to Liverpool down the left-hand side. They're taken by Milos Kerkez. Of course, both he and Dominik Szoboszlai, his Hungarian countryman, missing out this summer's World Cup. They were edged out of even a playoff place in their group after that defeat to the Republic of Ireland back in November. And that's going to be a Leeds United ball here. I think he's actually going to give a delay in taking the throw in there. So throw in will be the Leeds on the right hand side. And James Justin will leave that one for the captain, the Welsh international, Ethan Ampadu, to take. Not a whole lot of run off here with the hoardings at the side of the pitch, but he's going to try and launch one into the penalty area here, Ampadu. And launch it he does. In it comes there, glanced on, headed away by Ndukwe. And then there's a challenge on the edge of the box with Wirtz and Gudmundsson that has left the Leeds United left back, the Swede, writhing in pain on the edge of the penalty area. The two of them challenged for that one as it dropped just outside the box. And Gudmundsson, who was at this summer's World Cup with Sweden, well, he's not looking too good there. It says he lies prone on the edge of the penalty. Well, I say prone. He's writhing in pain on the edge of the penalty area. It's headed away by Ndukwe, and then Wirtz has absolutely clobbered him there. Not intentionally. Wirtz goes to clear the ball and just goes through Gabriel Gudmundsson as he's doing so. And Gudmundsson is he's feeling it sort of in the small of his back there, and that wasn't where Wirtz made contact, so hopefully nothing too sinister here for the Leeds Swedish fullback. And we've got an early medical stoppage here. Some of the players get a bit of a chat with each other from both sides. You can certainly tell there's a bit of the pre-season air about it, as we see Andoni Iraola on the sideline, taking over, of course, Liverpool this summer from Arne Slot after a rather humdrum defence of their title last year, a defence of their title that never really got going, and ultimately saw them finish in 5th, just enough to qualify for next season's Champions League. You'll see Gudmundsson now setting up and gets an apologetic hand on the shoulder from Florian Wirtz, and he's going to be helped to his feet here by the Leeds medical staff. And perhaps we just had the wind taken out of them there after that challenge from Wirtz. Whatever the case may be, certainly a sore one for Gudmundsson. Liverpool, as I mentioned, finishing 5th last season, enough to see him qualify for this season's Champions League, albeit they did stutter over the line, failed to win any of their last 4 league games. Luckily enough, had enough of a cushion going into that saw them just sneak in over the line into 5th. Ahead of Bournemouth, Sunderland and Brighton, who are the 3 who will take part in this year's Europa League and Conference League. Leeds, meanwhile, finishing 14th, a comfortable mid-table finish ultimately for Daniel Farke's men. And we're ready to get going again here. Alexis De Silva trying to look over the sideline to see if Gabriel Gudmundsson is going to continue, but it's going to be a drop ball here. He's going to drop at the feet of Ethan Ampadu, and Leeds will get going. Now here's Mukaremovic. If that's a name that you recognise, he was the man on the end of the now infamous Folarin Balogun challenge at the World Cup, as Isak nearly robs him of it, but it'll rebound back to Cairns and Leeds goal. Mukaremovic was the man on the end of the Folarin Balogun challenge that saw him sent off in the round of 32 clash between the US and Bosnia that ultimately saw the former Arsenal striker's red card rescinded at the apparent behest of the US government, but that's old news now when it comes to scandals surrounding FIFA, if you know what I mean. There's one flicked on there. Metcha. Now Dan James out onto the right hand side there for Bogle. Bogle down the line for Tanaka, right corner of the penalty. He has Chambers there with him. And challenge out for a throw in off of Soboslai. And throw into Leeds United on the right hand side, roughly in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. It's going to be left again here, I believe, for Ethan Ampadu. Indeed it is, to try and launch this one into the box and give Liverpool defence a bit of early work. In it comes, long throw in there. It's bouncing around, nobody gets a touch on it, eventually steered away by Trey Neone. And now Alexander Isak will get on his bike and he's up over halfway for Liverpool. He has support ahead of him with Wirtz. He has Frimpong bombing forward to his right. He plays it in front. Jeremy Frimpong, he's so fast, gets that one. Frimpong's attempted cross, blocked behind by Joe Rodon, and that's out for a corner kick to Liverpool. So there's just a snapshot as to how quickly Liverpool can hit Leeds on the break here this evening. From the long throw that initially they didn't really deal with very well, they let it bounce. Trey Neone getting it away, sending it away for Alexander Isak to get Liverpool over halfway, and Frimpong bombing forward down the right, but Joe Rodon, the Welsh defender, doing a good job of getting back to deflect it behind for a corner, which will be taken here by Dominic Soboslai, a right-footed out-swinger from the Hungarian, wearing the captain's armband for Liverpool in the absence of Virgil van Dijk. Of course, still taking a bit of time off after the World Cup. Then it comes from Soboslai, bobbing around, and there's a shot. It's 1-0 Liverpool, and on 7 minutes it's the young Reds who take the lead as Luke Chambers with a goal. The defender who spent the second half of last season on loan at Charlton but has been impressing on this tour of the United States, slams the loose ball home, and on 6 minutes as Liverpool 1, Leeds United 0. And Liverpool striking on the counter-attack to win the corner initially, and then the corner from Soboslai. It's a lovely little flick on from Milos Kerkez that just seemed to wrong foot so many Leeds defenders. Now it's Chambers, right place at the right time from 6 yards, just a slam at home past Alex Cairns in the Leeds United goal. And in this Premier League Summer Series clashes, Liverpool 1, Leeds United 0. Luke Chambers with the goal for the Reds, and he clears that one away over halfway under pressure from Lucas Metcha. Chambers, who is generally a left back by trade. He did finish that one with his left foot, but he has moved into a centre half role in this pre-season tour, and he certainly shone in that role in the victory over Wrexham in New York in Game 2. Stack now will come forward down the right for Leeds in the sunshine here in Chicago. Stack in behind looking for the run of James, but Chambers gets a touch on it and it's cleared away by Ndukwe. Wirtz brings that one down. That's a free kick to Leeds. It's a handball by Florian Wirtz, and Leeds will have the free kick. Ifeanyi Ndukwe, just 18 years old, Austrian defender, signed from Austria Vienna. Initially agreed in January, he made the move this summer, but unfortunately some work permit issues for the young Austrian mean that he will have to, if he wants to play any first team football this year, he's going to have to go out on loan for the first half of the season at least. There's a ball over the top for Metcha, but Frimpong will see it back into the gloves of Georgi Mamardashvili, all in green. It's this evening here in the UK. It's the afternoon in Chicago, just after 3 o'clock local time at Soldier Field. Here is Ndukwe, who I'm sure there are many a club from around Europe who will have seen what he has done on this tour of the United States of Liverpool and will be very interested in acquiring his services. Now here's Kerkez trying to link up there with Wirtz, but he's just sent that on a little bit too far, and go back to Cairns, all in orange, who for now anyway, and he's got Isak. Whoa, Isak was closing in. I thought he was in maybe Cairns' blind spot there, but he clears it away to James Justin, sent back from Chambers into the gloves of Cairns, who really last season he actually came through with Leeds in the Championship back in 2010. He made a Leeds United debut. Since then has been around the lower leagues with likes of Fleetwood and most recently a few seasons at Salford, but was brought in last season as a sort of third choice goalkeeper, back to where it all started. But with the departures this summer of Ilan Meslier and Carl Darlow. All of a sudden he's been thrust into the #1 jersey in this tour, but if rumours to be believed, and certainly they're very strong rumours, it is that James Trafford, the Manchester City goalkeeper who was at the World Cup with England, he may well be coming in to fill the spot left by Meslier. That's the Leeds #1. A great signing that would be for Daniel Farke's men. We've hit 10 minutes here, and it's Andoni Iraola's men who lead by a goal to nil. Luke Chambers, a young defender from Dominic Soboslai's corner. It's flicked on by Milos Kerkez, and there was Chambers to slam it home left-footed from 6 yards. Give Liverpool the lead. They've won both of the games so far in this Premier League Summer Series, beating Sunderland 4-2 and Wrexham 1-0. Meanwhile, Leeds lost 3-2 to Wrexham in game 1, then defeated Sunderland 1-0. There's a foul by Soboslai on James. And there's a very strong Welsh contingent here at Ellen Road that has been added to this summer. They've mentioned the starting line of Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu and Dan James. They've also now got Harry Wilson brought in from Fulham this summer. He's on the bench this afternoon. A real shrewd signing that is by Daniel Farke, as it's going to be free kick taken here by Anton Stack, who is a right-footed in-swinger from the German. Only Kieran Morrison in the wall for Liverpool. Here comes from Stack. It drifts it over everybody and straight into the gloves of Georgi Mamardashvili. Even in the summer sunshine here in Chicago, that's an easy take for the Georgian goalkeeper. Now, here's Nione. Gets up forward over the halfway line. Plays it onto the right for Frimpong. Now Morrison, the young Northern Irish midfielder. Back to Nione. Lay off from Isak to Morrison. Morrison back to Isak on the edge of the box for Leeds. Finds Frimpong on the right. He's near the byline here now, Jeremy Frimpong. Goes back to Nione on the corner of the penalty. Now Isak's in the box. Looking back for Nione. Well read by Rodon. Comes back now for Morrison, right corner of the penalty area. Now in Dukwe. To Nione. And Frimpong, who's offside. Well, that's a disappointing one from Jeremy Frimpong. He was standing still. Just failing to look along the Leeds line. That's an offside, so Leeds will get the free kick to get them out of that there. Liverpool playing some nice interchanges, but ultimately unable to test Alex Cairns in Leeds goal, who will get that ball back from Mukaremovic and then rolls it out onto the right for Rodon. Rodon will clear down the right touchline. One for Mecha to chase, and Dukwe's there, and good work from Dukwe, although Mecha has just pushed him off that one now. Lucas Mecha, and a challenge from Dominic Soboslai. Milos Kerkez prevents the corner. It's going to go out for a throw in the Leeds, about 15 yards from the byline. So what was initially a bit of a long hopeful clearance from Joe Rodon turned into danger there after Mecha battled with Ndukwe. And now Liverpool will come with it down the right hand side with Morrison. Morrison up over halfway. Good challenge over Mukaremovic. That's as clean as a whistle from the Bosnian. Morrison bites back at him, but Mukaremovic gets it off to Tanaka. Back again on the near side on halfway for Tarek Mukaremovic. He's looking for options, rolling the ball with his studs, and none really showing, so he goes back inside, midway inside his own half to Rodon. Now Ampadu, the former Chelsea Academy graduate, and that's a loose one from him, uncharacteristic, picked up on by Ndukwe. Now Isak has Morrison bombing forward down his right. Mukaremovic, so just calmly will roll it back to Cairns. He's under pressure from Morrison, will get it away to Bogle, and he clears up to halfway. Mecha wins the header above Chambers this time, but he's knocked down looking for it. Jayden Bogle goes out of play for a throw-in. Here's Frimpong on the right, on halfway. Inside to Soboslai. Now the goal scorer, Luke Chambers, up over halfway now for Liverpool. Now onto the left-hand touchline for Rio Ngamoa. Not many more promising young prospects in English football than him. Back he goes to Kerkez. Ngamoa again, in line with the edge, 18-yard box. Lovely bit of skill there. Gets past his man and then it's just out-muscled there in the end by Anton Stack. That's not a clever one there, and James Justin is forced to slide that one out for a throw-in on the right-hand side. Brilliant bit of skill there from Ngamoa to get past Stack initially, but then the German recovered well to win it back. Here's Ngamoa again on the left touchline. He's doubled up there by Bogle and Stack. And here's Neone. Soboslai. Frimpong on the right hand side. Morrison. Back to Soboslai. Weerts. I thought maybe it was going to be a front three of Weerts out wide with Ngamoa on one side, Isak on the other. It seems that Morrison has kind of drifted out onto the right with Weerts just in behind Isak. Lovely overlapping run here now. Left footed ball from Kerkez. Blocked up into the air by Bogle and then headed away by Tanaka. Picked up on by Chambers. Chambers, lovely touch there from Rio and Ngamoa. Another couple of step forwards. Goes past Tanaka. Kerkez to the byline on the left. Drills it across. Big deflection. Ooh, Kearns has to punch it away. And then helped on its way by Dan James. Picked up on the edge of box by Frimpong. Lays it off for Neone to hit one low. And a good save low to his left there from Kearns. And Liverpool threatening again going forward here. It's lovely stuff. Rio and Ngamoa. Just 17 years old, but was actually brought over to the United States by Thomas Tuchel to play a part in a couple of those pre-World Cup friendlies. And against New Zealand and Costa Rica, and particularly the game against New Zealand, he really shone. Here's Goodmanson. His cross takes a deflection off of Morrison, and that's going to be a corner for Leeds. So, first corner of the evening for Daniel Farke's men. As Goodmanson's cross is deflected behind by Morrison. So, Leeds with a chance to get something going here. So it's going to be a right-footed in-swinger here from Anton Stack. In it comes. Good header away though there by Soboslai. Bit too easy. Nobody in white really challenging for that one. Dan James recovers it and goes back to Jayden Bogle in the centre circle. Bogle, the furthest man back, plays a 1-2 with Mukaremovic. And Leeds really playing with fire as Weerts gets in between Roden and Bogle there as they were playing a bit of 1-2. That's never what you want. There's a long one over the top, easily dealt with by Chambers, and he goes back to Mamardashvili. So just not in 13 days time there will be American football on this field again. There's first pre-season game here against the Cleveland Browns, as there's Bogle trying to go through, well blocked by Kerkez, and now away comes Ngamoa again for Liverpool. Finds Soboslai in the centre circle, up over halfway. Soboslai trying to get away from Tanaka, can't do so, but he'll go inside to Weerts. Now in Dukwe. Now for Frimpong on the right. Has Morrison out there too. Goes inside to Weerts. Now Morrison. Morrison gets away from Stack, and now there's room down the right hand side for Weerts. Weerts inside to Frimpong, the boss. Good turn from Frimpong, well recovered by Ampadu. And the referee judges that Jeremy Frimpong fouled Ethan Ampadu. So free kick out it will be to Leeds. The Bears' first home regular season game, 20th September against the Minnesota Vikings, if you're so interested. But today it's the round ball football being played on this turf, and well, it's all grass. That's a risky one there from Kearns to Ampadu, under pressure from Neone, and he tries to use Roden as an out there. It doesn't work. That's going to be a throw in. Liverpool deep in Leeds territory on the left hand side. This turf looking rather patchy, particularly around the middle of the pitch. Certainly would not have been up to World Cup standards, even if Chicago was to be a host city. It's as we look at Dukwe now with the ball in the centre circle, that bit of that patch of grass roughly from midway inside each half really in the middle of the park is looking rather patchy. Not cutting up yet anyway, but certainly the ball not rolling the best on it as Ngamoa. He is rolling. Now he gets on to Wirtz. Szoboszlai, good challenge on him. And he wins it back off Tanaka now. Isak on the edge of the box. Can't find Morrison. Away by Goodmanson. And now here's Wirtz. Isak lays off for Tanaka though. Gets in there in front of Wirtz. And Leeds come well it now with Lucas Mecha. And he draws the foul there from Ifiane and Dukwe. And it's going to be a free kick to Leeds on the left hand side, roughly inside there, midway inside their own half. That Ao Tanaka was thinking about taking quick, but they'll leave it for Tarek Mukaremovic to dummy the pass inside to Ampadu, but instead I think he's going to go long here, the Bosnian defender. Indeed he does. Well, read though by Chambers, who's having a really good game. Luke Chambers. And noticing now that patchy bit of turf is going all the way in the Liverpool box. It actually takes up probably more of the field than it doesn't. It's not looking overly healthy out there, but so far so good. And Gamoa out on the left is just sent to ground there by James Justin. So a free kick, it will be Liverpool on the left inside their Leeds United half. And here's Szoboszlai in the centre circle. Wirtz comes short for it and goes back to Ndukwe. To Chambers. The goal scorer for Liverpool after just 6 minutes, Luke Chambers. Right, Szoboszlai. Neone out onto this near side for Frimpong. Sunshine well and truly out again here in Chicago. You're listening to live pre-season action as Szoboszlai looks for one of the Toffer and Gamoa, but Cairns will come to the edge of his box to get it. You're listening to live pre-season action here on Flash Score Official with me, Mark Strange. Liverpool 1, Leeds United 0, live from Soldier Field in Chicago. Thanks for joining me wherever you are in the world. Cairns, left-footed one high up into the sunny skies. That's going to drop. Mukaremovic volleys up into the sky further, and Ampadu has to beat Isak to the header, and it'll go back to Cairns in the Leeds United goal. So not the most that's what I'm looking for here. Not the most enjoyable phase of play there for the Leeds United defence, but it is now back to Cairns. And he'll boom one forward left-footed over the top with Mecha, and then Dukwe will just steer it back to Mamardashvili under pressure from James, and he'll get it away. Nodded down by Rodin. Ampadu back to Bogle. Bogle now back to Justin, and Justin back to Cairns on the edge of the penalty area. 33-year-old goalkeeper. Long one forward with his left foot. Nice flick on there from Anton Stack, looking for the run of Mecha, and Dukwe beats him to it and just gets enough on his back pass back to Mamardashvili, who clears it forward. Ampadu now to Rodin. He gets it back off Justin. Now Tanaka. Nice interchange there from Leeds. Ampadu, James on the ball over the top from Stack to Mecha, and well, German forward just not on the same wavelength there. He was standing offside, so he had to leave it. And it runs all the way through to Georgi Mamardashvili. Now in Dukwe in the edge of the box for Liverpool. Frimpong on the right. And Dukwe again. No pressure on the young Austrian defender, so he rolls it out to his left for Chambers. Liverpool goal score here. We played 23.5 minutes in Chicago. It's Liverpool 1, Leeds United 0. Luke Chambers with the goal for the Reds after just 6 minutes, slamming home from 6 yards after Milos Kerkos flicked on Dominic Szoboszlai's corner into his path. Here's Frimpong now on the right hand side on the bit of grass that doesn't appear to be too patchy. With the pace on him too. He's away from Tanaka. He's still going. He stumbles and falls. Was he fouled by Tanaka? He was. So free kick it is Liverpool, and there's going to be a yellow card actually for the Japanese midfielder by a referee, Alexis De Silva. And in fact, that one may actually go. Yeah, indeed, it has to be Tanaka. The camera there was zooming in on Tarek Mukaremovic, who was in the vicinity, but certainly that's a foul by Ao Tanaka on Jeremy Frimpong. Had a good handling of the Dutch wide man's shirt, so that's the first booking of the afternoon. And now Dominic Szoboszlai will line up a free kick here from about 30 yards out. Unfortunately, we've had a few technical issues here on our end. Looking to rectify those as we speak. Indeed, we're now back, so apologies about that there. I didn't miss anything with that free kick. Leeds bringing it out from the back here on 25 minutes. It's Liverpool 1, Leeds 0. Right, Kerkez to Szoboszlai. Wirtz just on the edge of the penalty. A good challenge on him by Bogle. And Bogle comes forward now. Mecha is outnumbered here by about 4-1, but he holds it up well and brings Dan James into the game on the left. That's Goodmanson overlapping. He finds him. Heavy touch by Goodmanson. It'll come for Mecha on the edge of the box. Can he work something here? Mecha hits one. Ooh, just wide. Had Mamardashvili diving low to his right, and it just fizzed past the post while on the ground there from Lucas Mecha. He did really well to really fashion something out of nothing there initially. Holding up the ball whenever he was outnumbered, bringing Dan James into it, and even after the heavy touch by Gabriel Goodmanson, Mecha works in space. Had Luke Chambers on him. He just worked enough room to get a low, hard, right-footed shot away with no real back left, but it just fizzed past the post despite Mamardashvili diving for it. Now here's Liverpool on the break now. Wirtz to Isak. Isak gets a nice touch away from Mukaremovic. Isak, good challenge from Joe Rodon. Good recovering tackle from the Welshman. That's a throw in to Liverpool on the right, around 25 yards from goal. Alexander Isak, who of course missed a lot of time last season with a bad broken leg after his move from Newcastle. Regained fitness towards the end of the season. Did play for Sweden at the World Cup, but not really a factor as his country ended up bowing out at the round of 32 stage. Here's Ngamoa. Gets to the byline under pressure there from Bogle. Goes back to Kerkez, and now Neone midway inside the Leeds half. Back to Szoboszlai. He brings in Dukwe into the game. Now onto the right for Frimpong. Frimpong faced up by James, so he'll just roll it back to Ifeanyi and Dukwe. He instead goes back to the halfway line for his centre half partner Luke Chambers. 18 and 22 in Dukwe and Chambers, so a young centre half pairing. Here's Morrison. Ball over the top for Frimpong, headed away by Mukaremovic, and Tanaka had more time than he thought there and ends up side-footing out for a throw-in. Liverpool on the right, around 25 yards from goal. Frimpong will take. Former Celtic and Bayer Leverkusen defender. It's also at the World Cup and also exited at the round of 32 with the Netherlands, of course. Here's Ndukwe. If he keeps this trajectory up, I'm sure we'll have many a World Cup ahead of him for Austria. Now right on the left hand side here for Ngamoa, a man who certainly has the World Cup in his sightlines, maybe even the next Euros if he keeps going the way he is. He's trying to hold off a challenge of Stack. That he does. Really good there from Ngamoa. Wirtz now in behind for Ngamoa again, left hand side of the penalty area. Good slide challenge by Rodon, and he prevents the corner. Hammers it out of play for a throw in on the left hand side. Rio Ngamoa got to the left hand corner of the 6-yard box there and just couldn't get the shot away under intense pressure from Joe Rodon. Both Rodon and Ngamoa are feeling the effects of that one. I think actually Ngamoa might have been offside anyway, you know. It's a really well timed sliding tackle by the Welsh defender. And Ngamoa is back to his feet, as is Joe Rodon. So on 29 minutes here, we're good to go again. And indeed it is going to be a free kick to Leeds. The offside flag was up, but Joe Rodon didn't know that, and that's a really good challenge. Here's Stack with a flick on now to Tanaka, over halfway on the right for Leeds. Good strong defensive work from Szoboszlai. He just overran Al Tanaka there, and they'll roll it back to Georgi Mamardashvili, who now in his second full season at Liverpool after signing from Valencia. Of course, in his first year he was loaned back to the Spanish side, but had to play understudy to Alisson for most of last year. But the Brazilian did have a couple of injuries that saw the Georgian thrust in, and he's certainly more than capable. We shall see. Obviously Alisson taking a bit of an extended break after the World Cup as well. There's one in behind now for Kerkez to the byline. He's eased off of that one by James Justin. That's going to be a goal kick to Leeds. We'll see how the goalkeeping situation pans out for Liverpool. I mentioned for Leeds they've got Alex Cairns in goal, who all of a sudden was thrust from third choice last season to first here now, although I'd imagine if rumours to believe, Leeds are very close to the signing of James Trafford as their number one, which would be a real great signing for Daniel Farke's side. Plenty of rumours swirling around Liverpool as well. Not least as there's I thought that was a foul by Metcha on Chambers. Alexis De Silva disagrees. Florian Wirtz comes forward. The rumour that won't go away. Well, more than that in a minute. Soboslai tries to find Isak. It's blocked. Comes from Morrison now in the right hand side for Liverpool. Right corner of the penalty area. Things slowed right down, so he goes inside to Soboslai and now Wirtz. Wirtz on to Neone. Neone has Ngamoa out there and instead fizzes one into Wirtz and he can't control it. And instead now Mukaramovic will give it to Goodmanson to clear away down the left hand touchline out for a throw in. And that rumour that I was mentioning about is that Bradley Barcola, the Paris Saint-Germain and France star, may well be on his way to Anfield. What a signing that would be. Goodness me. It would be just to add to the attacking riches that Andoni Iraola has, but to sign one of the hottest prospects in all of Europe, well, that would be quite something. As now here's Ngamoa. Gets one in right footed, deep to Kieran Morrison. Nice touch at the far side of the penalty area, but he's forced backwards by Goodmanson. Morrison now twisting and turning on the right touchline, trying to lose the attentions of the Swedish defender, and he does so. Morrison now in behind for Isak. Back to Morrison, right corner of the penalty area, left footed ball in deep, looking for Ngamoa. Headed away by Bogle. Helped on its way again there by Stock. Now it'll come for Kerkez, left hand side. Good challenge by Anton Stock, and then a strong one there from Neone. Wins it back off Metcha. Trey Neone into the box. Gives it to Ngamoa. He tries to go past Jaden Bogle and is fouled on the left hand side of the penalty area, not in the penalty area, just outside it. And that will be a free kick, Liverpool. And plenty of strong challenges going on, nice there from Trey Neone on Lucas Metcha, but Alexis De Silva was right there and decided nothing wrong with it. So we played on, but there was something wrong with Jaden Bogle's challenge on Rio Ngamoa on the left hand side of the penalty area. So it's a dangerous spot here for a free kick for the Reds. Well, Gabriel Goodmanson, I actually did notice that whenever I mentioned he was sort of jostling with Kieran Morrison on the right hand side, Goodmanson sort of pulled up with his knee or ankle, it seems, and now he's sitting down inside the penalty area waiting for treatment. And we saw him earlier, well, actually he's feeling the hamstring, and that's not what you want at any stage of season, let alone in pre-season. And well, Goodmanson earlier was struggling after he took a bit of a clatter with a challenge from Florian Wirtz, and well, that's going to be his afternoon finish. So we're going to see the Belgian defender Sebastian Bornau replace him very shortly. He's getting his final instructions from Daniel Farke. Meanwhile, Gabriel Goodmanson is having that right leg tested out. It looked as though he's feeling the hamstring. They're sort of bending the right leg to see basically how far can it go, and Goodmanson's looking in a fair degree of pain. So it has not been an enjoyable afternoon in Chicago for Gabriel Goodmanson. And as I say, we are going to see Sebastian Bornau replace him. So we're just over 10 minutes plus any stoppage time remaining here at the end of the first half, and Goodmanson is able to walk off under his own strength. And well, it might be one of those that when you're playing in the regular season you might be able to run it off or anything like that, but in pre-season you do not want to be risking things like a hamstring, because what is potentially a little tweak or a strain could turn into something much, much worse, particularly whenever this stage of the summer. Although he's played in the World Cup, your body may be not fully up to mid-season just yet. So it'll be, as I said, Sebastian Bornau on for Gabriel Goodmanson on 35 minutes here for Leeds, as Goodmanson will make his way down the touchline and down the tunnel into the treatment room here at Soldier Field. And it's going to be a free kick though to Liverpool when we get going here. Dominic Soboslai here will take this one. Left hand side, about 15 yards from the byline, a couple of yards outside the box. Szoboszlai hits one. I think he's going for goal there. It's blocked. He volleys across back in, away by Mukaremovic. It'll drop for Nioni now midway inside the Leeds half. And now Wirtz on the right hand side. Everybody so making their way back into the normal position. So Wirtz will go back inside to Nioni. Szoboszlai on the left. Right footed in swinger. Oh, headed away by Rodden. Not sure much he knew about it. He's holding his face there, Joe Rodden. So the last thing Daniel Farke needs is another defensive injury. Isak with a flick on, a good challenge by Mukaremovic, and now Leeds will come away with Dan James. Holds off a challenge of Nioni. Now he's over the halfway line on the right hand side here. Dan James still going. Dan James. He hurdles another challenge from Nioni. He's got Bogle overlapping. Here comes Jaden Bogle, challenged by Kerkez, and that's going to be a corner for Leeds United. So a good quick breakaway there from Leeds, led by Dan James and Jaden Bogle. And as Milos Kerkez just getting a boot in there as Bogle tried to make his way into the penalty area. Joe Rodden appears to be okay, by the way. You know, he just took one to the face where he's trying to head it away. He's forward here for this Leeds corner. It's going to be a right foot right swinger in the sunshine here from Anton Stack. And comes a delivery headed on by Bornau. It hits his own man, and that's going to go out for a goal kick. I'm not sure who the Leeds man is, but again, it's sent them to the ground, and Leeds players here just dropping like flies here in this first half. We'll see who that one is. It's Bornau with a header, and it's right in the side of the head of Ethan Ampadu. That's going to be a sore one. And in the end, it's spun away out for a goal kick. That insult to injury, but I think Ethan Ampadu is going to be okay. Yeah, he is indeed. So back we go. Nioni forward Liverpool, flicked on for Isak. Here is Ampadu getting in there ahead of Wirtz. A good challenge from Nioni. Wins that one off Stack. Now here's Wirtz in the centre circle. Tanaka has to be careful. He's already booked. Don't want to be sent off in a pre-season friendly. Now here comes Ngamoa, left corner of the penalty area. Ngamoa, a couple of step overs. Still going, drills it across. Oh, and Isak nearly got the touch on it to finish it. Frimpong will do well to keep it in the right-hand corner. Back to Morrison, right-hand corner of the penalty area. Now Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai holding off the challenge of Tanaka, almost inviting him on, but instead he'll roll it back to Kieran Morrison. Morrison looks for his options and goes inside to Chambers. Chambers out on the left for Ngamoa, who has Bogle on him immediately, but Ngamoa is so good in those tight spaces. He can beat the defender in a phone box, Rio Ngamoa. And they'll go back to Kerkez. Now Nioni. Ngamoa tries to flick on for Kerkez, but well read by James, and well, Leeds try to come away with it, but Wirtz wins it back off Mecha, and now here's Szoboszlai. Frimpong on the right hand side. About 25 yards from goal, rolls it laterally inside again there to Dominic Szoboszlai. And Dukwe back to Chambers in the centre circle now. And Dukwe again. And Chambers. Chambers to Wirtz. Wirtz to Frimpong. Morrison. Back to Szoboszlai. Liverpool dominating the ball here without really threatening the Leeds goal or even the Leeds penalty area, to be honest. Back to Chambers in the centre circle again. Nioni. Back with Ndukwe. Szoboszlai under pressure from James. Leeds pushing Liverpool back, but Nioni has it now in the centre circle inside his own half. Now Szoboszlai. A long one forward looking for Ngamoa. Well read there by Bogle, who is the only man out there today in a long sleeve shirt, or an undershirt on it may well be, as Tanaka bites in well on Wirtz. Now Leeds, can they break away here now? Down the right hand side with Ampadu. He's looking for a foul, not coming. And now Liverpool are back on it again with Florian Wirtz. Ngamoa on the left hand side again. Ngamoa fizzes one into Isak. Isak on the left hand side of the penalty area. Back to Wirtz. Not many red shirts in the middle. Nioni arrows one to the back post where Frimpong will hook it back across. It's going to drop for somebody, and there's 2-0. It's Florian Wirtz who makes it 2-0 to Liverpool here on 40 minutes. And well, there wasn't many men in the box, and all of a sudden Florian Wirtz with a box breaking run to slam that one home. First time right footed, with just over 5 minutes to go until half time here. Liverpool double their lead in Chicago. It was Nioni who arrowed one to the back post for Frimpong. He hooked it back, And well, there's 3 white shirts going for that ball. They all converge on it. And I think they'll be disappointed that it was Florian Wirtz around the penalty spot who met it first time. And slams it home, right-footed into the bottom corner. Nothing Alex Cairns could do about that one. It's a good finish from Wirtz. The assist from Frimpong hooking it back, but ultimately, as I say, I think Leeds will be disappointed that none of their 3 defenders could get to that one before the German playmaker, who is going into his 2nd season now at Anfield off the back of it. Well, many would believe an underwhelming first season in Merseyside and an even more underwhelming World Cup for Germany. So, plenty to prove for Florian Wirtz. And now we have another Leeds United player down, and I believe it's the captain, Ethan Ampadu. And this has not been a happy first half here for Daniel Farke's side. They've already lost Gabriel Goodmanson to injury, and now Ampadu, well, the physios are working on what looks like his left knee. And Ampadu lying prone on his back, not looking overly happy. I think he might have been one of the 3 Leeds defenders that sort of converged in that ball that Wirtz hits, unless he's injured himself doing that. Let's have another look here. It was Nione arrowed one to the far side of the penalty area for Jeremy Frimpong, and his hook back to Wirtz was slammed home. And indeed, I do think it might have been a bit of friendly fire that has hurt Ethan Ampadu here. It might have been one of his own teammates who has either trodden on him or Ampadu's got his leg caught in him. Either way, he is back to his feet and walking to the sideline now. No sign of any move in the Leeds bench, but as I say, in pre-season of all times, you don't want to risk things like that. And well, it looks as though Ethan Ampadu is intending on continuing here, but this side are 2-0 down in this final game of the Premier League Summer Series, live from Soldier Field in Chicago. With me, Mark Strange, here on Flash Score Official. As Leeds get us underway, Mukaremovic goes back to Cairns. In goal now, Bornau. Bornau gets one forward, but it's over the head of Bogle. Since Bornau's come on for Goodmanson, James Justin has moved into that left wing back role and moved Jaden Bogle out to right wing back and Bornau into the one of the 3 at the back. And I can see the number 4 shirt there of Ethan Ampadu rejoining us here. So really nothing too serious, or maybe he's just going to try and go to half time and see how he goes. We've got about 2.5 minutes of normal time left. We might have a bit of added time. As I say, there's been a couple of injuries, a couple of goals, so Alexis De Silva, our American official, may well decide there's more to it than that. Now here's Sobosai. Nione. Dukwe on the halfway line for Liverpool. That's Chambers, now Nione on halfway. And Gamoa, who has really looked dangerous every time he's on the ball here. Back inside the Nione. And Kerkez in line with the edge, 18-yard box. Kerkez for Wirtz. Kerkez again. Hooks it back across. There's Ampadu. Ooh, he slices the initial clearance, but recovers well. Tanaka's under pressure though, and in the end, Jaden Bogle just hammers away. Nice layoff there from Mecha to Stack, and he's going to go back to Mecha here now. Lucas Mecha. Luke Chambers gets back to him well, but Mecha now trying to hold off a challenge of Nione. He'll bring in Dan James onto the ball. Right hand side in line with the edge of the penalty area for Leeds, who really have not tested Georgie Mamardashvili at all in this first half. Stack with a cutback. It's behind. Well, it's behind both Lucas Mecha and James Justin, who are both in there, and that's a disappointing end of that move. We're into the last minute of normal time here at the end of the first half. Let's see what sort of added time we will have here. Bornau now on to Tanaka in the centre circle. Stack. Good ball across from Bogle. Away by Chambers. Ooh, and Stack nearly, or sorry, Bogle nearly got that one in instead of Kerkez. And Gamoa now trying to jink his way out of trouble here as he's squeezed out by a couple of Leeds defenders. No foul, but Liverpool will come away with it anyway with Trey Nione. He fizzes one out onto the right hand side looking for Kieran Morrison, too much on it, and ends up in Liverpool dugout. Rio and Gamoa there under pressure from Jayden Bogle and Anton Stack. He went to ground, I think, expecting a free kick. I think he actually nearly reached out for the ball in the middle of it, so maybe lucky he didn't get a free kick against him. And now we're over the 45 minutes here. We'll have 4 added minutes at Soldier Field, so indeed good chunk of added time, pre-season or otherwise here. James Justin with a throw in for Leeds in the left, midway inside the Liverpool half. It's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 0 here in first half stoppage time at the end of this first 45 of this Premier League Summer Series clashes. Bornau goes back to Cairns on the edge of the box and then gives it back to the Belgian defender who came on for Gabriel Gudmundsson, who's gone off with what looks like a hamstring injury, so not ideal for Daniel Farker. Good ball there from Stack to find James on the left hand touchline, faced up by Morrison. Dan James cuts inside, still going Dan James looks for Metcha, but well read by Ndukwe, and he clears it away. That nearly looked like a hand there from Kieran Morrison. It was a play on, and Stack is a forceless save down low from Amardashvili. Justin's going to get to it in the left hand corner. It's blocked by Ndukwe, but doesn't go for a corner, and Ifeanyi Ndukwe comes out of it at the back for Liverpool. Anton Stack forcing a low save there down to the right from Georgi Mamardashvili. Similar effort to Lucas Metcha, who just fizzed past the post earlier, but this one forcing a save at Liverpool goalkeeper, which hasn't really happened in this first half. Here's Chambers now to Soboslai. Back to Ndukwe, midway inside his own half. Now out to Frimpong on the right hand side in front of his manager Andoni Iraola, who stands on the edge of the technical area. He'll have been pleased with what he's seen from his side here in this first half. Goals from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz have them 2 goals to the good here against Leeds United. Isak drops deep there and he handles that one. No, he's fouled actually by Bornau. I thought that was a handball by Alexander Isak. Nothing doing. See another look at that effort from Anton Stack. It might have been going wide when you see it again, but Amardashvili wasn't to know. Here's Wirtz now midway inside the Leeds half. Spins it out right to Frimpong. Frimpong now to the right hand corner of the penalty area. Back to Soboslai. Soboslai, right footed delivery deep. That's a really good one. Header over the bar by Kerkez. Did the touch come off Bogle last? No, it didn't, despite the Hungarians' protest to the contrary. Good deep ball there to the back post where Milos Kerkez was breaking away. Picked out by his countryman Dominic Soboslai. I think when you see it again, I think Kerkez might have had a point there. I think the last touch does come off Jayden Bogle, but Alexis De Silva, our referee, and is the only opinion that matters, says it's a goal kick to Leeds, taken by Alex Cairns. Sends it long. Soboslai nods it down for Isak. Isak hooks from over the top for Morrison, the chase. Well covered by Justin, who sends a rather unforgiving back pass back to his goalkeeper, but Cairns will get it away. Header won there by Chambers above Stack. And now Metcha and Kerkez will jostle for that one. Neone tries to hook it away, but Stack will win it for Leeds now on the right hand side, going down the touchline in the Liverpool half. Tries a back heel, but there's Wirtz instead. A bit of a loose one from Wirtz, but between Chambers and Neone, they're going to try and clear it here, and well, in the end Chambers is forced to concede a corner under pressure from Lucas Metcha, and well, this may well be the last action of the first half, but Leeds United have a corner kick. Chance maybe to one more chance before the whistle to have this deficit. It's going to be a right-footed outswing corner again from Anton Stack. Two hands in the air, and it comes from the German wide man. Good one in too. Rodden goes up there along with Ndukwe. The ball will go out to the left hand side, and is that kept in down there? Frimpong challenging with James. It doesn't really matter, as Alexis De Silva says that's enough for the first half here at Soldier Field. And it's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 0. An early opener for the Reds by Luke Chambers, double to the lead by Florian Wirtz. So at the break here in Chicago, it's Andoni Iraola's side in the ascendancy. Don't go anywhere. Hello everybody, welcome back for the start of the second half here at Soldier Field in Chicago. Pre-season action for you. Live on Flash Score Official. It's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 0. Liverpool making it a raft of half-time changes here. So far, we've seen Federico Chiesa come on in place of Florian Wirtz. We've got Curtis Jones coming on in place of Alexander Isak. We've got Ryan Gravenberch on for Trey Neone. And I can also see James McConnell out there for the Reds, although not immediately obvious who he has replaced yet. I will update you as soon as I can. Of course, that is the good old commentator's nightmare. When a pre-season friendly, whenever the raft of subs are made, usually all at once. The fear whenever you see the gaggle of bodies waiting to come on the sideline. But say so far for Liverpool, they are still waiting on Leeds to come out for the second half here. But so far for Liverpool, say we've got Chiesa, Jones, Gravenberch and McConnell are on here. And that we know of coming off, we have Wirtz, Neone and Isak. We shall see who else has exited stage left. But in the first half, Liverpool, a pair of goals. In fact, we've got another sub down there as well for Liverpool. That is Louis Kumas, son of former Wales international Jason. Also will be coming on here. We had 2 Liverpool goals in the first half. One from Luke Chambers after just 6 minutes. 7 minutes he finished slamming home after Milos Kerkez had flicked on Dominic Soboslai's corner, and then 5 minutes before the break, Jeremy Frimpong's hook ball back across was finished first time from around the penalty spot by Florian Wirtz. So that first half is all the German has got. And so we are still waiting on Leeds rejoining us here for the second half. Liverpool out very early. But Daniel Farke still obviously having a few words in the dressing room. But for now, I'll spend some time trying to work out those exact subs for you. Truth, I'm not sure what is keeping the Leeds side in the dressing room. Plenty of Liverpool and Leeds shirts, to be fair, in the vicinity here this evening, in the stadium here at the iconic Soldier Field here in Chicago, home of the Chicago Bears of the NFL, who'll be back here in a couple of weeks' time to start their own pre-season schedule. So, meanwhile, while we're waiting on the Leeds side to rejoin us here, stick with me, I'll be back in just one moment. Well, finally, Leeds United have been kind enough to rejoin us for this second half. That is quite the delay from Daniel Farke's side. For what reason, I'm not quite sure. They've made some changes at half-time too. You can see Sean Longstaff is out there. As I say, the old commentator's nightmare of a raft of subs in a friendly. I can also see Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who is conversing with our referee this evening, Alexis Da Silva. But, we are almost ready to go. I'll confirm all of those substitutes as quickly as I can, as soon as I can for you. And we'll get the lineups confirmed as well. But finally, at long last, we are ready to get going here for this second half at Soldier Field in Chicago. Still bathed in sunshine here on the shores of Lake Michigan. Liverpool will get us underway here. Back underway, I should say, playing right to left, all in red. Leeds all in white. It's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 0. I'm Mark Strange, delighted to have you along with me here this evening. First half goals from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz. The difference between the sides is Louis Kumas, who is one of those brought on at half time for the Reds by Andoni Iraola, wins a throw in down the left hand side. Now here's Milos Kerkez who will take it. He was one of the men on from the start. So Liverpool subs going off. We've got Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, with Curtis Jones and Federico Chiesa coming on. Those are two that are confirmed. Two centre halves have stayed as they are. Here's Ifeanyi and Dukwe to Frimpong. To Mamardashvili, all in green, the Liverpool goalkeeper this evening. Going off two are Rio Ngamoa and Trey Neone, replaced by Louis Kumas and Ryan Gravenberch. Back again to the Liverpool goalkeeper, who sends that one long, nodded down. Here's Ampadu now for Leeds United. There's Longstaff. We'll get to the Leeds United subs as well. There's James Justin in behind here, and Dukwe goes with him. And Justin, was he fouled? And Dukwe was, so free kick on the left hand side here for Leeds United. Just about a minute and a half in the second half here in Chicago. So for Leeds as well, coming on, they've so far, we can confirm they've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Harry Wilson and Sean Longstaff. They're coming on for Lucas Mecha, Dan James and Ao Tanaka. So if there's any more than that, I will confirm them with you. In fact, we do. We've also got the American international Brendan Aronson coming on for Anton Stack. So Sean Longstaff will deliver this free kick, whips it in and over everybody. And that will just drift out for a goal kick on the far side. So not a great start to proceedings in the second half for the former Newcastle man. Wow, and that's a strong challenge there from Harry Wilson and Milos Kerkez, who's reintroducing himself to the game here. In fact, I think it was more a 50-50 or Kerkez on Wilson, who was listed at my team list as number 97, but seems to be wearing 17 out there now, the Wales international, one of the Welsh contingent here, as that one's read well by Justin, but Dukwe gets to it, but gives it straight back to James Justin. Justin hits one from range, could have been an awkward one saved though by Mamardashvili, who comes out to the edge of his box and launches a long throw. Goodness me, Louis Kumas tries to get on the end of it, Joe Rodon beats him to it, and now Calvert-Lewin will knock it down here for Wilson. Now Rodon back to Sebastian Bornau, who joined us in the first half of the unfortunate Gabriel Goodmanson, who went off what looks like a hamstring issue. Back to Alex Cairns, the Leeds goalkeeper, all in orange on the edge of his penalty area. Here's Bornau, holds off the challenge of Soboslai. He seems to be pushing forward in support of Chiesa and Kumas as a front three here for Liverpool. There's Mukamerovic now, the Bosnian forward. And here's Bornau on the right for Bogle on the halfway line in front of Liverpool manager Andoni Iraola. Back again to Alex Cairns. And now Bornau tries to clear it down the line. Blocked in a play though by Soboslai, and that's going to throw into Leeds on the right hand side, roughly in line with the edge of their own 18-yard box here. That's just going to be taken by Joe Rodden. So if you look at the Leeds team today, they started with 3 Welshmen: Rodden, captain Ethan Ampadu, and Dan James. Well, Dan James has been replaced, but he's replaced by another Welshman, Harry Wilson. So it's a very strong Welsh contingent in Yorkshire this season. Rodden now goes back to Bornau on the edge of his own penalty area. Gets it back off of Ampadu. Bornau will send it long, looking for Wilson. Well read there by Chambers, who steps forward. Now Gravenberch, first touch for him since coming off the bench at half-time. Won back by Longstaff, and Bornau goes back to Cairns in the goal. Just on his own penalty spot. He'll roll it out left to Tarek Mukaremovic, who, as I mentioned in the first half, that name's familiar. That's because he was the Bosnian player on the receiving end of Folarin Balogun's challenge in their round of 32 clash with the USA that resulted in the Monaco striker getting a red card. That was his suspension was later suspended, meaning he could play in their round of 16 game. Ultimately a fruitless endeavour, as they were well beaten by Belgium. But yes, certainly one of the more controversial aspects of this summer's World Cup, which the final was just over 2 weeks ago now. It just seems like a real distant memory, doesn't it? It's going to be a long throw in coming here from Ethan Ampadu for Leeds, and he flicks it in and punched away by Mamardashvili. It's going to go up into the air and land behind the goal line, so it's going to be a corner kick for Leeds United. And it's going to be taken by the US international Brendan Aronson on this near side here. In fact, he's going to leave it for the aforementioned Harry Wilson. He's going to take a left-footed in-swing corner here. Wilson, it's a deep one to the back post. It's flicked away by Ndukwe, and out for a throw in the Leeds on the far side. Kieran Morrison claiming it for Liverpool, but nothing doing. Our referee, by the way, Alexis Da Silva, who has refereed 11 Major League Soccer games this season, as Ampadu will pick up the spare ball here and is going to launch it into the middle, albeit he's leaning against the hoardings. Not a whole lot of room to operate. In it comes, a long throw, flicked on this time by Mukaremovic and off the head of Ndukwe, and Mamardashvili will prevent the corner for Liverpool. Bowls it out underarm to Soboslai, who has Kumas running ahead of him to his left. Soboslai uses Kerkez instead, who still has Kumas. He cuts inside. Was he fouled by Longstaff? He was, and added insult to injury, Ethan Ampadu ends up kicking the ball against the head of Milos Kerkez. Unintentional, of course, but yeah, free kick to Liverpool nonetheless. Kerkez got past Wilson, did not get past Longstaff, and that's because the former Newcastle man decided he wasn't going to. And here's Jones. Gravenberch, midway inside the Leeds half. Back to Curtis Jones, who was seemingly involved in a rather controversial post-game spat along with Dominic Soboslai and Kostas Tsimikas after the victory over Wrexham in New York a few days ago over who would be wearing the captain's armband. It was a strange one, and certainly I would imagine one that Andoni Iraola took a dim view of. There's Jones looking for the run of Frimpong. Instead it's picked off by Aronson, and then Frimpong, I think, fouled James Justin, but advantage played. Now here's Wilson for Leeds. Looks for Calvert-Lewin. Nice touch to pass in Ndukwe. Calvert-Lewin, strong run. He's got Bogle bombing into the box the far side. Calvert-Lewin across. Oh, and across the face of goal. And out for a goal kick in the far side. Jayden Bogle ends up in the back of the net, but the ball doesn't. That was a decent move there from Leeds. Good touch from Calvert-Lewin, the taking pass in Ndukwe, as he tried to pick out Jayden Bogle at the back stick. In the end, it was too long for both he and Milos Kerkez, and both of them end up in the back of the net, but not the ball. So Mamardashvili plays out on the left for Kumas. Back to Kerkez. His clearance comes off the back of Jayden Bogle. Now Jones will get the loose ball. Was he fouled by Rodden? He spins and gets back to his feet. He's ready to go again. Curtis Jones, but again he has to hold off and attempt to challenge by Rodden. Advantage played again. Now down the right hand side comes Liverpool with Morrison. Frimpong. Oh, well. Brendan Aronson just seemed to sneak up on Curtis Jones there and win it back, but Leeds are still inside their own box here. Longstaff to Justin. They're trying to play their way out, and eventually they do, but Sean Longstaff's, I'm not really sure if that was a pass or a clearance, whatever it was, ends up out of play on the right hand side for Liverpool. Gravenberch takes the throw in off of Morris and now has it inside the Leeds half on the right hand side. Back to Chambers. His ball to Kerkez is picked off by Wilson, who's looked sharp since coming off the bench. Harry Wilson, he's away down the right hand touchline here, the Wales International, and he tries to cut inside Soboslai. Was he fouled by Soboslai? He was. So free kick it is to Leeds on the right hand side, around 25-30 yards from goal. So Wilson signed on a free from Fulham. A really neat bit of business it is by Daniel Farke. He's fouled there. If you look at the Leeds in so far, there's Harry Wilson and the aforementioned Tarek Mukaremovic, who's joined from Sassuolo for an estimated €37 million. This is quite the total. No other ins just yet, but as I mentioned, the first half, it seems to be a matter of when, not if, that James Trafford will join from Manchester City to replace Ilan Meslier as the number one after he moved on to Arsenal, and Ricard Darlow is number two, also moved on to Man United. Wilson with delivery, and Calvert-Lewin gets a head onto it and wide from the former Everton forward, and that brings to an end that spell of pressure. For Liverpool, well, so far their ins, only so far Jeremy Jacquet, the young centre half from Rennes, who has not joined them on this tour, and well, they will be joined when they return home from the States by a World Cup winner, Victor Munoz, who joined from Osasuna. But again, if rumours to be believed, as Soboslai can't keep that one in the far side, but if rumours to be believed, they'll be bringing in one of the hottest attacking talents in Europe, Bradley Barcola, fresh off the World Cup for France and another trophy-laden season for Paris Saint-Germain, but perhaps finds himself the odd man out somehow in that incredibly talented attacking line, the likes of Desiree Doué, Ousmane Dembele and Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. Although Paris Saint-Germain have already let Gonzalo Ramos out the door to AC Milan, so we'll lose another attacking talent. Liverpool, it looks like. And again, as I say, that's if rumours to be believed. Bova talking for Kumas, but Kearns comes out to the edge of the box. Of course, Liverpool, a lot of that's surely a foul there by Soboslai and Rodden. It is, but the Soboslai helps the Leeds defender to his feet. Nothing sinister about that one. Of course, Liverpool have lost a lot of the key pillars of the side over the past few years. One more so than Mohamed Salah, who is still technically without a club, albeit again more rumours about him perhaps going to Turkey with likes of Besiktas, although no word on that yet. Andy Robertson, who is now a Tottenham Hotspur player after joining on a free. And Ibrahima Konate, who has joined Real Madrid. So a lot of pretty significant exits for Liverpool as James Justin tries a deep cross that's far too deep for everybody. Is it going to go out? It is just about. Jayden Bogle did his best to keep that one in, but it's going to be a goal kick to Liverpool. So a bit of a new look side for Andoni Iraola. Federico Chiesa is in the lineup today, and he has spoken in the press about his desire to stay and fight for a place. Also rumours abound of his exit potentially back to Italy with his former club Juventus, and also Atletico Madrid interested in the services of the Italian forward, who like the rest of his countrymen had another summer off after missing out on a third World Cup in a row, losing to Tarek Mukaremovic's Bosnia on penalties in the playoff final back in March. The Euro 2020 champions. Doing almost unthinkable. 3 World Cups in a row without Italy. We'll look to put that one right next time. But here's Jones, goes back to Mamardashvili under pressure from Wilson, but he'll clip out onto the left for Kerkez. He keeps it in. 59 minutes gone here at Soldier Field. As that's a loose one from Kerke. Ampadu picks it up, drives to the edge of the box, finds Aronson. Aronson scores, the American on the score sheet in the United States, and Brendan Aronson on the R mark here slides it home. And it's now Liverpool 2, Leeds United 1. A calm finish there from Aronson as Leeds pounce on a loose ball there from Milos Kerkez, trying a clever backheel. Instead picking out Ethan Ampadu, who calmly slid in Brendan Aronson, who despite the attentions of Ifeanyi and Dukwe, worked that ball onto his left foot and put it through the legs of the on-rushing Georgi Mamardashvili. And on the R mark here, Leeds United have the deficit. Liverpool 2, Leeds United 1 here at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. So new man brought on at half time there, Brendan Aronson. While part of the USA squad at the World Cup, only played in the ultimately dead rubber group game against Turkey. A few minutes in the World Cup warm-up game here, actually, at Soldier Field against Germany. But largely a watching brief for Aronson this summer on home soil, so it'll be nice for him to get a goal for his club on home soil. As in Dukwe wins that header of Calvert-Lewin. Now Longstaff holds off Jones on the right hand side for Leeds. Goes back inside to Wilson in the centre circle now. Harry Wilson right on the left touchline for James Justin. Ampadu to the goal scorer Brendan Aronson. Nice Sean Longstaff. Back to Rodden. Back into the centre circle for Bornau, who's immediately under pressure from Chiesa, but gets it off to Longstaff, who then go all the way back to Alex Cairns, the Leeds United goalkeeper, who's come out of his box for that one. Bornau now to Ampadu. Bornau again on the right hand side. Rodden gets away from Kumas, another Welshman on the pitch, Louis Kumas. Nice turn from Calvert-Lewin to get away from him. Dukwe still going. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and still holds off the challenge from Dukwe in the end of his pass is a loose one, and that's going to be a corner. Well, Milos Kerkez was letting that one run. He thought it was going to be a goal kick, but instead he's been caught out there slightly, and it's going to be a corner kick to Leeds. So it's going to be another left-footed in swinger here from Harry Wilson. Can Leeds come all the way back here and have an equaliser in this one? We shall see. And it comes from Wilson. That's a good delivery, good header away in there by Kerkez, and helped again on further by Morrison. Now Frimpong and Aronson are in a break chase for this one, and Brendan Aronson does well to get it back to the halfway line, and Jayden Bogle. Now here's Ethan Ampadu. Right to Brendan Aronson on the left flank now. Takes on Kieran Morrison, the Northern Ireland international. Cuts again onto his right foot there. Aronson lays it off to Ampadu instead, and Wilson, good challenge on him by Chiesa. And Chambers and Kerkez between them will come away for Liverpool, although Leeds all of a sudden having a bit of a purple patch here as in the bright afternoon sunshine in Chicago. Cairns on to Ampadu, just spins one out onto the right there for Longstaff. Lovely ball. And then Bogle will go back to Cairns on the edge of the Leeds box. Born out to Ampadu. Taken on nicely there by Aronson. And now Rodden to Bogle on the right hand side. Rodden overlaps with Bogle. Good delivery. Mamardashvili read it really well over the head of Calvert-Lewin, and Mamardashvili got to it before James Justin. And Frimpong almost waiting for Justin to come back at him there, and then a nice little flick back to Ndukwe. Now here's Chambers, who gave Liverpool the lead all the way back in the 7th minute, the 22-year-old defender. He has played most of his career as a left back, but has been reinvented as a left centre half here this summer. Here's Kumas. Run ahead of him is Morrison. Kerka's left-footed ball in there to the back post. Not a down for Chiesa. Well done by Bornau. Kept alive on the right-hand side of the penalty area by Morrison. On his left foot, Kieran Morrison looks for options. Goes back to Frimpong. Now Morrison again is going to have loads of room to pick out a cross here, and does. Deep one from Morrison looking for Kumas, but plucked out of the sky by Cairns, and he'll bowl it out for Rodden. And now Wilson. Wilson almost caught out there by Soboslai. It's going to be a free kick against Dominic Soboslai, awarded by Alexis De Silva. As we've played 65 minutes here now at Soldier Field. Liverpool 2, Leeds United 1. Good defending back there by Sebastian Bornau to deny Federico Chiesa an opportunity from Kieran Morrison's cross. Liverpool led 2-0 at the break. Goals in the first half from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz, but one back just on the hour mark here from Brendan Aronson. As this back to within one again. Wilson back to Cairns on the edge of the penalty area. So both of these sides will of course meet whenever these games count for real, count for points, in the Premier League at Anfield in December and back at Ellen Road in April. But both of these sides getting their Premier League campaigns underway. Liverpool, as Leeds come forward here now with Wilson on this left foot. Oh, touch on Justin, and well read there by Morrison to take that one away from Bogle. It's going to be a corner to Leeds. Liverpool begin their campaign away to Newcastle 23rd of August. That's a 4:30 p.m. kickoff that day UK time, whereas Leeds, they'll begin a day earlier, 22nd at 3 o'clock, also on the road though. They're at the City Ground to take on Nottingham Forest. So the new Premier League season is right around the corner. As always, you can hear every Premier League game, plus selected games from around Europe and the major UEFA competitions, and select internationals as well, here on Flash Score Official. Here's Longstaff now. Deep delivery to the back post, kept in well by Justin, and turned behind there by Curtis Jones. I think Alexis De Silva is saying that it actually gone behind the goal line before Justin hooked it back. Indeed, that's the case. And now here's Kerkez for Liverpool. Liverpool, after this here, technically 3 friendlies, all at Anfield actually. Once they get back home, they'll take on Monaco next Sunday, before on the 16th, as is turning tradition at Anfield, they'll have a double header friendly that day against Cesc Fabregas's Como. 2 different sides, one kicking off at noon and the other kicking off at 6 p.m. on the 16th of August. For Leeds, they too have another 3 friendlies. They'll take on RB Leipzig next weekend before travelling to Dublin to take on Manchester United on the 12th of August, and rounding out their pre-season game is Augsburg. So Liverpool subs galore here now. First of all, we will see Harvey Elliott come on for Dominic Soboslai. So Harvey Elliott back here with the Reds this year after a bit of a strange loan spell in at Aston Villa. Also coming off is Kieran Morrison, replaced by Calvin Ramsey. And we will see Luke Edwards replaced by Tala Njai. Luke Edwards, who scored the opening goal. And the final sub, I believe, in this round, we'll see Kostas Tsimikas come on in replace of Milos Kerkez. So just over 20 minutes to go. Those subs at Liverpool then. Coming off, we've got Chambers, Kerkez, Morrison and Soboslai. And coming on then, we have Elliott, Tsimikas, Ramsey and Njai. So those are your Liverpool subs here on 69 minutes. So as well as all those games I mentioned earlier, every Premier League game, select games around Europe, Games in the big UEFA competitions, the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, internationals as well. We'll also have for you this week on Wednesday evening, pre-season action, Arsenal against Real Betis. On Friday afternoon UK time, Aston Villa against Bayern Munich. Next weekend then on Saturday, Manchester United v Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona v Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, the Eredivisie gets underway next weekend. We'll have opening game from PSV against Fortuna Sittard on the Saturday, and Ajax taking on Zwolle on the Sunday. Also next Sunday, that aforementioned game, Liverpool v Monaco, as Leeds come forward here. And there's Tala Ndiaye with the first bit of action for him as he clears James Justin's cross away before it gets to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Throw in to Leeds on the left hand side. Next Sunday I'll have action for you from Seoul in South Korea as Manchester City take on Atletico Madrid. We'll also have that Liverpool game against Monaco. Still before the start of the new Premier League season, we'll have the UEFA Super Cup the 12th of August, Paris Saint-Germain v Aston Villa. On the same day, Everton v Newcastle in a pre-season friendly. Long throw, Rampadu on by Rodden, Calvert-Lewin 2-2. And we are level here in Chicago. And it's the former Everton man, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who finishes at the back post. Rodden got up. It might even be Mukaremovic who got up to flick on Ampadu's long throw. And Leeds have come back from 2-0 down. And it's now level at 2 apiece here at Soldier Field. Indeed, it was Joe Rodden. And there was Dominic Calvert-Lewin in acres of space at the back post, and from a couple of yards, he's never going to miss that. And we are level here again. Liverpool 2, Leeds United 2. A thoroughly entertaining afternoon here at Soldier Field as Liverpool's 100% pre-season record now is in danger. I was just telling you the upcoming schedule. We'll also have Arsenal versus Manchester City in the Community Shield on the 16th of August before the big kick-off for the champions Arsenal getting underway on the Friday night, the 21st of August, hosting the return to the Premier League of Coventry City before we have a full slate of fixtures that weekend. And then we're really back into the swing of things. So certainly this game is in the swing of things, and there's Calvin Ramsey almost caught out there, and Dukwe will mop up for him and clears long. It's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 2. Liverpool led 2-0 at the break. Goals from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz, but goals in this second half from Leeds half-time subs. Brendan Aronson and Dominic Calvert-Lewin have it at 2-2 here. Well read there by Ndiaye, and now away comes Kumas for Liverpool down the left. Kumas runs into trouble there with Jayden Bogle. No foul, says Alexis De Silva. Now Wilson on the right hand side, right hand corner of the penalty area as he approaches. Longstaff back to Rodden. Now Ampadu. Longstaff again, Wilson. Back to Bornau, under pressure from Chiesa, but he gets it off to Ampadu. And Mukaremovic. Aronson turns midway inside Liverpool half. Brendan Aronson out on the left hand side for James Justin. Back to Aronson to the byline. Aronson cuts it back. There's Longstaff on the penalty area. Oh, it's in. Leeds have come all the way back from 2-0 down, and they lead 3-2 here on 73 minutes. And it's another half-time sub, Sean Longstaff, who has put them ahead here. What a second half showing from Daniel Farke's side. Well, I said at the break that he would not have been happy with his side showing the first half. Goodness me, what a second half it has been. Aronson involved again to the byline, and well, that is not the sweetest strike that Sean Longstaff will ever have. In fact, it might even have taken a chunk off of Curtis Jones on the way through. It wrong foots Georgi Mamardashvili, that's for sure. It doesn't even take a touch. It's just a complete scuff from Longstaff. He has a wry smile as it nestles in the bottom corner, and all of a sudden this game is flipped on its head. Liverpool 2, Leeds United 3. Brendan Aronson, the USA international, scoring the first goal and has now set up the third. He's had a real good game since the half, and well, pre-season or not, this has been thoroughly entertaining. And Leeds have turned this one on its head. 74 minutes gone. It's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 3. Here's Tsimikas for Liverpool, returning from a season-long or a half-season-long loan at Roma, who he joined in January last year. But with the exit of Andy Robertson, he will be required this year, I'd imagine, as backup, if nothing else, to Milos Kerkez at left-back. Gravenberch leaves that one for Ndukwe. Ndukwe, in my reckoning, is the only man left on, apart from Amardashvili from the start, by Andoni Iraola. Here's Tsimikas. Well intercepted by Wilson, and Calvert-Lewin can't get past Ndukwe. Good work from the young Austrian defender. And here's Ramsey on the right hand side to Frimpong. Apologies, Jeremy Frimpong, he's out there as well. He's just pushed forward onto the right wing with Calvin Ramsey at right back. Now here's Chiesa for Liverpool. Chiesa approaching the penalty area. Elliott back in for Chiesa, well read by Bogle, and he calmly just side foots that one away. Now here's Aronson to Justin, well read by Frimpong, and Frimpong is going to put that one out of play here, and well, he's got the hands on the knees, as does Sean Longstaff. I don't know if Frimpong is struggling here. He's certainly not looking overly happy. He's got the referee out there along with Brian Gravenberch and Curtis Jones. We shall see. I would imagine maybe that Andoni Iraola will not want to be risking players in pre-season. Leeds United leading Liverpool by 3-2 here at Soldier Field. Liverpool led 2-0 at the break with goals from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz, but 3 goals and 3 half-time additions from Daniel Farke. I've got Leeds in front here. They've got goals from Brendan Aronson, the US international, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Sean Longstaff. Now we are going to see a sub here. It's going to be Callum Scanlon, who's coming on here for Jeremy Frimpong for Liverpool. Frimpong back to Andoni Iraola. I think he's trying to let him know what the issue is there. Well, whatever it is, they're still deep in conversation, but Callum Scanlon is on, so that leaves this man on the ball, Ifeanyi Ndukwe, as the only man left in the outfield anyway from the start for Liverpool. Jones out there to Ramsey. Now Gravenberch. Can Liverpool get a goal back in this one and make it level again? This game has turned on its head here in this second half. Ramsey back to Ndukwe. Leeds forcing them backwards, though. Good press from Daniel Farke's side. Here's Ndukwe to Chiesa. Loose ball seized upon by Harry Wilson, though, and Leeds looking dangerous again. He's been a real great addition, Harry Wilson, but his pass to Calvert-Lewin there is just too long. And Georgi Mamardashvili will come out to pick that one up. Here's Gravenberch now for Liverpool. Back to Ndukwe. The half-time subs from Daniel Farke have really made all the difference here, and well, this is certainly no points on the line, but there's certainly plenty of pride and plenty of mental battle in the line. And as Calvin Rams there is fouled by James Justin about 30 yards from goal, just right of centre, so that's going to be a free kick Liverpool here. And so Harvey Elliott's going to be the one to take it. Indeed it is, as Alexis De Silva just marks the spot for the man who spent last season on loan at Aston Villa, but it was a loan with an obligation to buy had he played a certain amount of games, and it soon became pretty clear that he wasn't fancy about Unai Emery and was just completely shunted out of the squad for much of the season, although still did pick up a Europa League winners medal. Here's his delivery in there, and Ndukwe nearly gets to it, headed away by Mukaremovic. Aronson will get to it. Jones battling with him in the corner. That's going to be a corner kick to Liverpool despite Brendan Aronson's protestations. So just over 10 minutes to go here. Harvey Elliott will come over to take this corner for Liverpool. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from him. Still the sun shines here over Soldier Field. In it comes. Up goes Ndukwe. Good header away. It'll drop for Kumas on the edge of the box. He goes back to Ramsey. Now Kumas now on the left-hand side. Left corner of the penalty area for Liverpool. Has Scanlon to his left. Goes inside to Gravenberch. He hits one low and hard, but well wide of Alex Cairns' post. And that spell of pressure from Liverpool comes to an end. 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go here in Chicago as Daniel Farke prepares a couple of subs. One of them is Wilfred Nonto, and the other is another of the Welsh contingent at Leeds, young Jaden Lenu, is going to join us here for the last 10 minutes. As Cairns knocks that one long. Flicked on by Aronson, away by Ndukwe. Tsimikas, nice flick on from Kumas. He was clattered down a challenge, but now it's on Elliott to Chiesa. Really nice as Tsimikas does left Chiesa, but he only looks inside, and Curtis Jones has to stunt his run, but he will get to it. There's Scanlon. Elliott hits one deflected, and it's going to go behind for another Liverpool corner here on 82 minutes. Still Liverpool 2, Leeds United 3. Leeds turning this game on its head, 2-0 down at half time. They have been much the better side in the second half. Daniel Farke will certainly have plenty to think about in terms of his selection. Still a couple of weeks out from the new season, but there's certainly been plenty of those who come on at half time here who were who have put their hand up for that, that's for sure. Apologies folks, a couple of technical issues on my end there, but you haven't missed anything at all. Just a couple of Leeds subs to be made here. First of all, coming off Jaden Bogle, and replaced by Wilfred Nonto, as I mentioned moments ago. And then the other sub that is going to see Jaden Lenu come on. He's going to replace James Justin, although Sean Longstaff all of a sudden here not looking overly happy. A man who scored the third goal for Leeds here to give them the lead in this one. No pun intended there. So those subs there for Leeds. Coming on the 83rd minute, Nonto and Lenu. Coming on for Bogle and Justin for Daniel Farke's men. And Daniel Farke will be delighted with his side response here in the second half, and they might just have a fourth. They do. It's in again from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Another one from close range from the England striker. And on 85 minutes, Leeds add to their lead here. It's Liverpool 2, it's Leeds United 4, and it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the double today. Long throw in from Ampadu, and Liverpool just cannot deal with it at all. Ampadu's throw flicked on this time by Bornau, and Calvert-Lewin gets up above Curtis Jones and nods it in off the underside of the crossbar. And well, what a second half this is turning into from Leeds. 5 minutes plus any stoppage time to go, and it is Liverpool 2, Leeds United 4. And well, if they could be doing this at Anfield in December, I think Daniel Farke and his players would be more than happy with that. But Liverpool have fallen off here in this second half as Simicas plays over the top for Kumas. Cairns comes out, Kumas tries to lob him, and just gets it all wrong and lobs it over the bar. You can see what Louis Kumas is trying to do there, trying to take advantage of Alex Cairns off his goal line, but the young Welsh international just got his footwork all wrong. In the end, his attempted lob drops well over the crossbar. So 4 minutes to go. Liverpool 2, Leeds United 4. Liverpool's 100% record in this tour, almost certainly going by the wayside if their victories over Sunderland and Wrexham. It stays against both of these sides, will end up with 2 wins from 3 from this Premier League summer series. So there's another one that is going to be just shuffled out of play there by Lenu, and that's a goal kick for Leeds as new man Jayden Lenu holding off the challenge of Calvin Ramsey, the Scottish fullback for Liverpool. And well, certainly it's the first half Liverpool side have done plenty to curry favour with Andoni Iraola. The second half side, not quite so much, albeit certainly a lot of changes, a lot of young fringe players introduced by Andoni Iraola. But the subs brought on at the break and since then by Daniel Farke have really made the difference. And shout out to Mike Barry listening along here in Alberta. Said he was here at Soldier Field over 10 years ago for a famous day for Ireland Rugby, who beat the New Zealand All Blacks here in this stadium that day. So certainly a multi-sport ground. Although knowing Mike as I do as a Liverpool fan, he may not be overly impressed with the second half. But Brendan Aronson there given a booking for a tug back on Calvin Ramsey. In 88 minutes, Liverpool do have a free kick wide right here, around 25 yards from goal. Harvey Elliott stands over it again. Red shirts and white shirts gather along the edge of the box. It's been a sun-bathed afternoon here on the shores of Lake Michigan in Chicago, Illinois, as Liverpool trail Leeds United by 4 goals to 2. A complete turnaround in the second half from Daniel Farke's men, and Harvey Elliott's free kick is glanced wide there by Ramsey. As the clock ticks down here in this one, although I'm sure we'll have a bit of added time. We had 4 minutes in the first half. As Alex Cairns will send this goal kick long, and Dukwe, who looks like he's going to be the only Liverpool player to complete the full game, outfield player that is, Georgi Mamardashvili doing it 2 in goal. And Dukwe, as I mentioned, is 18 years old, Austrian, signed from Austria Vienna, Deal was agreed in January. He made the move this summer and has been a real standout on this tour of the United States, but some work permit or visa issues mean that he won't be able to play for Liverpool this year. Now I would imagine that a loan or at least a spell in the under-23s would have been on the cards for him anyway for his development, but that's going to have to be the case this summer outside of England too, as he will get loaned out for the year. But a real great talent in Dukwe, and he will certainly be on many a European club's radar. Looking at a young defender, there's Nanto, goes back to Rodden, and he runs into a bit of trouble there, and there's a free kick though against Liverpool as Gravenberch is adjudged to have fouled him. And we're over the 90-minute mark here now. We'll have 6 added minutes, so 6 more minutes here of stoppage time. Back to Cairns on the edge of the box. Is there to be more goals in this thrilling pre-season friendly? Liverpool 2, Leeds United 4. And Mark Strange live for Flash Score Official. Hope you've enjoyed this one as much as I have. We're into that 6 added minutes here this evening. It's Tala Ndiaye goes back to Ndukwe. As mentioned, there was Liverpool side in the second half. Certainly some of the fringe younger players coming on, but not all of them. You've heard Harvey Elliott, Ryan Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, Costas Tsimikas, Federico Chiesa, all out there. So it'll be disappointing for Andoni Iraola, but I hardly think he's going to hit the panic button just yet. Lovely turn from Kumas away from Nanto. Now he goes inside, finds Gravenberch. Back to Ndiaye on halfway, and he goes to Ndukwe. Back to Ramsey on the right-hand touchline. Ramsey down the line there, good run, made in front of him by Scanlon, but I think that one's just going to beat Callum Scanlon to the byline. Indeed it does. He's looking for a tug of the shirt there by Jayden Lenu, but Alexis De Silva, our referee this evening, not having any of it. He's played a minute and a half of the 6 added here. Alex Cairns, Leeds United goalkeeper, spots that one down. He's been the number 1 on this tour, but almost certainly going to be usurped by the arrival of James Trafford. Both these sides just under Liverpool exactly 3 weeks away from their season opener. Leeds a day shy of that. Liverpool will kick off their campaign Sunday 23rd of August, 4:30 p.m. UK time, away to St James's Park against Newcastle. And Newcastle club seemingly in turmoil this summer, losing star men left, right and centre, and now lost manager Eddie Howe as Aronson tries to play one in here, but there's a foul. I think it's an offside and a foul there from Nanto and Tsimikas. Newcastle side hemorrhaging both players and now their manager. Hardly an ideal pre-season for the Magpies. They will host Liverpool 23rd of August, 4:30 p.m. UK time. A day before, 3 p.m. UK time. Leeds also start on the road away to Nottingham Forest. So Premier League season just around the corner. And don't forget, you can hear every Premier League game live on Flash Score Official, as well as selected games from different European leagues, the major UEFA competitions and international games as well. So stick with us for all your commentary needs. We'll also have, of course, all your latest news, previews, match stats, reports, you name it. We've got it here for Flash Score, your home of football. As Ryan Gravenberch now nudges this one out on the right hand side for Harvey Elliott. We played just over 3 of the 6 added minutes at the end of this one at Soldier Field. It's Liverpool 2, Leeds United 4. Thrilling comeback in the second half from Leeds, who were 2-0 down at the break. Goals in the first half of Liverpool from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz, and they were comfortable at it. But a double from the former Everton man Calvert-Lewin, added to by Brendan Aronson and Sean Longstaff in this second half, meaning that Leeds will win this one. And both these sides will finish this Premier League Summer Series stateside with 2 wins from 3. Liverpool defeating Sunderland by this same score 4-2, and Wrexham 1-0. As that one's hourred in by Elliott, too long for Jones, and Nonto happy to let it run out for a goal kick. We are just a couple of minutes away from the end of this one, and the end of the of major overseas football anyway in the United States this summer, after a summer World Cup, this Premier League summer series as well, stateside. As Elliott now looks to run at Kumas. Well dealt with though by Rodden. And he goes back to Cairns under pressure from Kumas, and nearly wins it back, Louis Kumas. Vision took away to Ramsey on halfway on the right for Liverpool. Elliott. Callum Scanlon. That's it back to Curtis Jones, but he's fouled Jayden Lenu. And we're into the last minute of the 6 added on here by our official Alexis Da Silva. Leeds United will come away with a very morale boosting 4-2 win here, after being 2-0 down in the break. Of course, Liverpool as well, missing a lot of players still returning from the World Cup. Worth noting that as well, as Ndukwe nods it away. Ramsey now under pressure from Lenu. His clearance is blocked up into the air. It'll go into the penalty area. Almost dropped there for Harry Wilson, but Ryan Gravenberch will come away with it instead for Liverpool. And that is that, says Alexis Da Silva. So, in this final game of the Premier League Summer Series, Leeds United storm back in the second half. 2-0 down at the break, thanks to Liverpool goals from Luke Chambers and Florian Wirtz, but 4 second half goals from Daniel Farkas' men. His halftime subs making the difference. A double from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, added to the efforts from Brendan Aronson and Sean Longstaff, means that both of these sides will end the Premier League Summer Series with 2 wins from 3, and with around 3 weeks to go to start the new season. A valuable workout and a confidence boosting one in the end for Leeds in the second half. A game of 2 halves really, and in the end though, Leeds United doubling up Liverpool with a final score of Leeds United 4, Liverpool 2. I've been Mark Strange for Flash Score Official. Thanks for joining me.